Nick, are you? Hey, Jurgen. All right. Here we go. Let's go to here first. Good morning. Or at least for me, it's morning. I think it's a little bit not morning for you. I am curious since I have somebody in the EU on here at the moment. I was just scrolling through TikTok this morning and saw a parade happening in Germany. Uh, Fasching, something. Let me see if it's this Fasching or Fastnacht. It looked like to me. I don't know. I'm very my German is very not good. Um, and it was it reminded me of something that happened to me as a child in Amsterdam. Um, it, myself and my brother Jeremy, if he happens to be jumping on here from Twitch, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was a parade happening with some gnarly looking wooden carved masks being worn, and they were shaking or not shaking. They were using that rattle that you basically spin to make a clickety sound. Um, and they were running up on people occasionally, not often, but they were occasionally. And then there was, all sorts of other, folks that were um dressed in parade regalia type stuff. And it reminded me of a time in Amsterdam where we were living I was a child at the time. I was like somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. I don't remember if it was towards the beginning of my time there, middle of the time there, or late, or towards the end of my time there. I think I was probably 9, and we were free range kids, millennials. I mean, not millennials, Gen X as we are were. We were free range kids. We were told by our parents to get out of the house, and that was the last they actually thought of us. It seemed because we went and ranged far and wide, and our bicycles were our um, uh, most valued possession. We'd jump on our bicycles and we would ride pretty much anywhere we wanted to go. The only thing we were told was be home when the lights come on, the street lights come on. And so that's what we did. And I'm trying to find some pictures. Um, Let me see. Let me get rid of that. Saw a parade with demon masks. Fastnacht, a traditional pre-Lenten festival celebrated primarily in southwestern Germany. Swabian Alemannic Fastnacht. Um, Demon masks, wood-carved masks, elaborate costumes, medieval and pagan traditions. Nachtmasken or Larven depict witches, devils, wild spirits. It's basically their version of Carnival. It was pretty cool to see. But anyway, as a kid, free range kid, I don't remember if it was what period time, what season it was. It wasn't cold, so it probably was not this celebration in Holland, in Amsterdam. It was some other parade, but suddenly a parade goes wandering by our house, and my brother and I jump on my bicycle. This was very common practice, and my brother would jump up on the handlebars, and um, that would be his spot on the bike. And we tore after to following this parade to goodness knows where. Cobblestone streets, small streets. When I say small, I mean they weren't very broad. These buildings on either side that just as I was watching this video of this parade happening on TikTok, it reminded me of that so much. And that was some of the best times of my life as a child, was spent in Amsterdam, with my brother. And it, we, I got lost. I followed this parade as my ADHD brain will do. We followed this parade. We had so much fun following this parade. And the next thing I know, I'm lost. I have no idea how I got where I was. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to racing after the parade. And fortunately, my brother has a pretty decent direction sense, and he knew exactly how to get us home. And so we wended our way back home, and uh, everything came out great. It's one of the best memories of my life, even though I was scared to tears as a kid because I'd gotten me and my brother lost. So. Yes, absolutely. So that's because of the horrible way Christians treated the pagans. They co-opted a lot of their holidays just so that they could try to convert them. It was a willful uh, behavior of the Catholics, and continued with the Protestant Reformation, to go along and co-opt Christian, pagan celebrations. So every time that you celebrate Easter, you're celebrating a pagan tradition. Every time you celebrate Christmas, you're celebrating a pagan tradition. Um, if you, the only way you're not doing so is if you are were to recognize that bunnies and eggs and trees and tinsel have absolutely nothing to do with those celebrations, at which point you're still co-opting the celebration by the period of time it was placed. So it's a very, people really um, lack their awareness of history to um, completely dismiss those statements if they try to do so. Anyway, very cool. Um, hey, Kevin, howdy, howdy, aloha. Just sitting here, chatting in my studio. We're going to get to doing some real stuff here in a minute. Um, I'm going to show you where I left off last week. This is what I printed, so that when we then 3D print a stand, I can see if it actually sits in there the right way. Now, obviously, my sister's amethyst was not perfectly round, so there's that. There's also the fact that as I go to share this view, you'll see I wasn't able to print that full height. And folks who were on here last stream will know what I had to do to prevent printing that full height, which was in the slicer, create an object that I just placed on top and booleaned it gone. At which point then I could print it, which, since this is the actual dimension I'm really worried about, we're fine. Now, the biggest concern I have right now, we're going to go ahead and modify this, I think this dimension is actually down where her thumb was on the photo. And if so, then needs to be actually wider than it is. So that's what I'm going to double check right now. Um, and yeah, you can see in the background. Um, I've got two printers so far, and we're working on a third one coming in February. I am ramping up to be a full-on side business doing 3D modeling and printing. So you're basically seeing me go through the learning pains of updating my 3D modeling skills from, circa 1980s to, somewhere here in the 2000s. And those growing pains are real. I'm not trying to say that it's um, either easy, neither easy nor hard to do 3D modeling. It is a skill. Everybody starts from somewhere. I start from a point where I did a lot of um, 2D modeling because it was just basically an extension of uh, drafting board drafting to uh, then take that drafting board drafting and do some light extrusion to get thickness. It was really not done the way this is done now. We didn't have, or I didn't have any reason to do the kind of neat things I'm doing with revolves and so forth. AutoCAD Lite, Fusion 360, and SolidWorks. Yeah, I've got Fusion 360. Um, I'm just using the, free version of that as well, and may switch over to it now that I'm employed. Uh, again, I have enough of an income where I can afford to, um, you know, invest in a uh, a license for Fusion 360. And because I'm a startup, they've given me a special deal on that license. So I may end up switching over to Fusion 360 for a couple reasons. One is I want to learn the tool. Uh, Two is it is considered a very it is considered the professional tool between Fusion 360 and SolidWorks. I think that it is incorrect to dismiss Onshape as a professional tool. I think it is just as good as Fusion 360. But I want to know both tools because I know a good chunk of the world works with AutoCAD and Fusion 360. So, hey, Rob, speaking of my EU folks, I don't want to say fans. I don't think you guys are fans. I think you guys are just cool people that come to hang out with me. Fans, don't actually get to know a human being. They get to know the art, and they then start fawning over the artist. Um, and there are some rare cases where that's not the case, but yeah. Um, and then they build a parimutuel relationship. You guys, we aren't parimutuels, we are mutuals. You guys are awesome to hang out with me. I follow your stuff, you follow my stuff. We're all creators. So, um, there you go. You're not my fan. We're just fellow creators who happen to appreciate each other's work. Ah, yes, that's another reason I've heard of folks using SolidWorks as well. But I thought that Fusion was good for that too. The biggest thing I've been told is for folks who use SolidWorks, the professional tool that does cost money, coming over to Onshape is pretty straightforward because a lot of the short keys are the same. So I am working on. I was working on it this morning. I'll work on it some more. I don't have a lot of spare time these days. Between my work contract and the fact that you know I've gone um, I've gone and done some good things around my consulting business and got my son engaged in a contract, so I have to monitor what he's doing and mentor him. I really don't have any spare time. It's like having two full-time jobs at the same time, and it doesn't give me a whole lot of spare time. But at least I'm gainfully employed, and I'm really happy about that. Um, and not be worried that I'm not going to be able to pay the bills. We're in good shape. Um, but because I don't have much spare time, basically, I get in here on the weekends and I try to get some little things done while also realizing I have other honeydews to do. So, like, I took out the on-off switch in our bathrooms, two of our bathrooms. I'll do the third today for the fart fan, aka the humidity fan, and uh, switched out the on-off switch to a timer switch, and that was a long time coming. the code today says that's exactly what has to be there. And surprisingly, we bought this house only a few years ago, and that wasn't the way it was done. So I don't know if he had gotten a he didn't have to get code certified or something. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm gonna go. So what I was working on was the ability to have a GoPro camera on my chest, be able to stream to the live stream. So that's coming. And when it does, I will then come back over here and I will talk about the printers. I'm actually working on a review for this printer, the P1S. Everybody knows the P1S. There's plenty of people who've reviewed the P1S. But the one thing I haven't seen anybody do is do a comparison of why you would want a P1S over an A1 versus an A1 over a P1S. Oh, is that the case? Was that Garrett or Christy? Hi guys. Um, and so yeah, okay, got it. Well, this construction isn't new construction, but he did do a lot of retrofit in here. And some of it he did, well, no, all of it he did on the cheap. Uh, the windows, for example, are nailed in through the through the or screwed in through the vinyl window itself into the wood. Hey, Garrett. Give my love to Christy and the fam. Um, but yeah, I will end up having some long form content on the channel that compares and contrasts those two printers on their merits, because there are reasons that the bed slinger can be better than the Core XY printer. You guys don't necessarily know what those terms mean, but it will be explained on my long form content. And on top of that, I'm getting another printer in that just released to the public right after I received my P1S. And it's at a price point that's so incredible, or its introductory price point. I think it was going to go up a couple $100, but the introductory price point was so incredible. We just said, that's it, we're buying it. And so it's coming in the middle of February, and I'll be setting it up. It's another Core XY printer. And the point is, I'll be setting it up to compare with the P1S. And I don't think there's any risk of me returning the P1S. Um, but I am very curious because the specs on the new printer that they compare extremely favorably to the P1S and maybe almost to the X1C. Um, and more I'll talk about more of that in that long form video. And the video is being shot on the GoPro on my chest mount, so that you guys can get my point of view as I work through the printers. I'll have some um, extra, cut scenes, if you will, from tripod mounted cameras, or from my iPhone or things like that, where I wanted to get in tight that the chest mount camera won't do. But yeah, we'll see if I can, if that's going to come out good. It'll be one of hey Daniel, hey Jeff, I just saw that you got in there and I missed it. Um, and never worry about being late. Better late than never. Unless it's dinner, then don't call you late. I know. Um, but yeah, so that's coming down the pike. Hopefully, I can edit it all together in a way that is um, clear, concise, and informative. Um, there's some thoughts I have about how I'm going about doing the video and the recording of the video and the audio. And we'll see how it all turns out. It'll be my first foray into doing more than just cutting pieces and spit it out of the video that I've made, and speeding things up. This will be true editing, multi-view, um, voiceover. I'll have to write a script to work off of as I talk about the stuff, all of it. It's going to be, a new challenge for me to create that kind of content. So, so back to this though. Let's see if I did really screw up the dimensions here. Uh, what I need to figure out is I think I must have turned off. Let's see. That's the sketch. That's a sketch. Where I must have pulled out no, there's the image. There are the images. Okay, got it. The biggest one I'm concerned about is this one. I think what she told me is this is, um, yeah, as we look at these images together, this is the spot at the bottom. Let's go back and just going to keep looking at these to make sure I get them right. Yeah, this is the spot at the top, which I did not necessarily put in the right place. So let's pull this image back in again. 9068. Let's adjust this. I have to remember how I pull in an image again because it's been a minute. I slept since the last time I did this. Uh, doo-doo-doo. I'll just go back to my reference material that I got for myself on how to do that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Do, do, do. Import. Inserting images into the sketch. Insert image. Within the sketch toolbar, click the insert image icon. Da-do. Insert image icon. So let's figure out where insert image. Well, let's just do this. Insert image. Come on. Maybe it's in the sketch itself. Let's go look at the sketch. No, it's not in the sketch. I'm just making sure that I didn't. Yep, there it is. Okay. So there's where I made my mistake. That is not where that is. This, I need to actually, that is where the point of that is, but that is not where the circle is. She actually had her thumb more closer to here. So I need to put another reference point in there. Let's go with another line and make sure it's construction. And I believe the reference point is going to be right about there. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and do this, an ellipse here. We'll go to that in a minute. Actually, no. There's a reason this isn't right, and I'm trying to remember what it was. We're going to go ahead and save that. That's what it was. So 80, that was just me eyeballing the locations. Now we need to actually change this correctly. So let's go back to this sketch and do the math. We said that was 80. We said that was that. We're going to go here and we're going to do another measurement. That's what? D here, here, to here. because that's actually the measurement we really need. So we're going to go with 195. There we go. With that figured out, we're going to go back to this sketch and we're going to change this to 1. Uh, let's not do that. There's the right way to do this. I need to keep, yeah, we're going to change. Okay, I know how to do it. 195. There we go. That's the way to do it. Somehow, I don't know how I did it. I'm really fortunate that I did, but that is in the right place relative to this, and that's beautiful. Let me see. Scroll. That is how I was able to make that right. I don't quite know how I did it. I'm sure it has something to do with the other constraints I have that said that these need to be um, sorry, tangential to the ellipses, and that's awesome. But I'm pretty sure it just put it in the right place. Okay, and parametric. Okay, so there are a bunch of CAD programs out there, especially as regards to um, uh, 3D printing. So hit OK. Elven metal. I agree 100%. So let me go back into that. I'm going to go back into this sketch and I'm going to bring in, there's got to be a place here now. I got to figure out what. Image. Yeah, there it is. And we're going to pull in the exact same image and we're just going to draw image rectangle right about here. We're going to keep it in this one as well, so that we can reference it in this one as easily as we referenced it in the other one. Because what we're seeing here is it ain't right. I should have had it referenceable before. I don't know why I didn't. Um, Come on. That being said, she literally gave me dimensions. So, how do I? Come on. I want to scale it to get it to the right place, but it's not letting me scale it. And I don't know why. All right, so, but what I'm seeing here is I don't trust that I've got the dimensionality right. It's close. And the biggest challenge here is I need to make sure that whatever it is that I build works with a thing that I don't have in my hand. This is why I'm going through all of this pain, if you will, guys, is I don't want to send my sister a stand that when she goes to put her crystal in doesn't fit properly. Um, so instead, I'm modeling up something that I want to be able to send her the model, have her have a friend or she may end up getting a 3D printer, she told me. Go ahead and print up this thing and uh, have her sit her crystal in it before I then go out and actually build the thing to spec. So the biggest thing is, she put her thumb here, but now I'm seeing this has a bit jutting out here, and that's a challenge, right? I think I've got the dimensions pretty close to right in that spot, but they really feel like they're off up here in this spot. So what I suspect happened is she used something like a um, Taylor's measure to measure around. And yes, this is the amount that was measured around, but it's not round. And so as a result, I think this is not, necessarily an accurate dimension for modeling against. So I'm going to adjust this stuff to fit this. Uh, like this 12.5, I don't know where that number came from, to be honest. Um, I know where this number came from. That's the one she told me about. Um, so we're gonna figure this out. Um, I know there's a way to scale this image more. I'm gonna do this. Control Z. Nope. All right. Now let's bring it back in again. It is this one. It is gonna be around here. Now I'm seeing something about how this. So I'm finding out for anybody who jumps on to this app to use it, they honor both Windows and Mac keyboard shortcuts, the Control and the Command Z. So that's fun. Insert image. So there it is. I keep looking for it and missing it. So now I saw it. We're going to try this again. And now what I think I've seen is we can start here. Still not quite right in position, but it's close enough, I think. Whoa. Yeah, we're not going to do that again. Let's try it again. Growing pains, folks. You're watching them in real time. All right, that is so close that I'm pretty sure I can estimate the rest of this by just doing that. This time it wants to scale. I do not comprehend why this tool is so weird. Previously, it didn't want to scale. It just wanted to move. Now it's willing to scale. I must have locked it to that somehow. Ah, this tool. I'm the tool, by the way. The one sitting behind in the chair. It's a problem. Problem exists between keyboard and mouse. Febcac. Problem exists between no Febcac. Problem exists between chair and keyboard, or keyboard and chair. That's what it was. Okay, and I pulled in the wrong one, of course, because it's not at the right angle to pull in that one. I need to pull in the one that's actually this one. There we go. If I can just estimate how much it's sticking up above, then I think that's close enough. There we go. That gives me the right angles, I think, to do all my dimensionality around. So let's see if I can break some things. First things first, I think I'm going to um, change this from 85. Uh, okay, I see now that was done in here. Let's see if we can make this look right. Let's make this 95. Okay, 100. All right. Now we're getting to where it could work. The biggest challenge now is I don't think it's actually on a center line, as in it's clearly not on a center line. This is not a, um, you know, that kind of situation. But look, we now have something that actually is much closer to reality here. So I feel pretty confident that this is good enough to model against. Um, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. I'm going to move this. Nope. Come on. There we go. We're going to take and get rid of. I'm going to go ahead and just do that to 0. There we go. Honestly, it's as if that really just didn't need to be out like that. So we'll just take it to 0. And down here, we'll take it to, let's go to 8. Oh, that angle's no good. Let's try that again. Control Z. Come on. 12.5. We'll put that back because that actually goofed everything up. All right, this looks good enough. I think this is a reasonable enough facsimile that I can use this for my model. So we'll go ahead and collapse this for now. We'll keep this. We're going to turn off. We're going to see that the parametric automatically updated. So my model is now this, and that's very cool. I am going to, in this model, I'm going to go ahead and cut off. Um, let me just do this real quick. We're going to go back into, we're going to do another sketch. We're going to do a sketch on the front plane, and it'll make sense in a second. Sketch, and we're going to call this sketch uh, fit on printer, and we're going to go ahead and create this, do it on the front plane. Come on, front plane. Oh, come on. That's right. I know how to do it. It's up here. Front plane. Stop that. Front plane. There we go. And we're going to um, create some horizontals. How is this not in my, it's offset from this. That's weird. So we're going to go here first. We know that that's, oh yeah, and it's a construction. We're not actually drawing anything here. And then we're going to go vertical. And then I'm going to do, I want another line, horizontal. Trying to remember what it is. Oh yeah, that's right. Uh, Here, across, also construction. And then we're going to dimension this one to this one. This line here only exists so that I could create a perpendicular line across, just so you know. And then we're going to go over here to my printer and remember that it says that my is 256 millimeters. So let's put 256 on there. All right. Anything above that line needs to be deleted. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to approve that. We're going to create a slice plane. Let me see if I can remember how to do a plane here. And we're going to do I really need 3 points? Okay, we'll do 3 points. Fine. How do I do a third point from here? We're going to do this. Do. Another sketch. We're going to do top. Oh, I could have done this without any of this. I'm going to undo this sketch. This is not the sketch that we're looking for. Delete. The sketch we're looking for, duh, is an offset plane sketch. So we'll do a sketch. Sketch plane will be, uh, hold on, offset, okay, plane. No, we're not going to do 3 points. This is what I want, offset. I knew there was a good way to do this. Offset. Could have done a line plane from the other one, but this is the smart way to do it. And the offset will be from the top plane, and the offset will be to 45, I think I said. Or is it 54? 56, 256. But because I really don't care about that 6, we're just going to do 250. There's that. Beautiful. So now all I need to do is uh, split, and the part surfaces or curves to split will be this part. Entities split with will be plane 1. Come on. Plane 1. There we go. And then we aren't going to keep the, let's see, keep the tools, keep both sides. No. Except that I need it to go in the opposite direction. There we go. Ta-da! Now this is made so that I can actually export it and print it. Now, hunky-dory. And if I want, I can now hide that plane. I don't really care about it anymore. I can, the split doesn't matter. I'm just going to call it split fit to printer. All right, beautiful. We go like that. Real quick before we go any further, we'll export this. We'll save it as an STL. We'll call it, we'll leave it as that. We'll call it, I'm actually probably going to need to rename stuff, but amethyst. Um, and we'll just go ahead. All the rest of this looks right. STL is the format that 3D printers know how to deal with. So we'll export that. And real quick here, let me pull up Bamboo Studio. Let me throw it over in here so that I can then share that screen. We'll go to this source. We'll go to window capture. We'll go to Bamboo Studio. All right. We'll go to prepare. We will, I can go to my file and do it, but let's go import. And we're going to go to downloads, and we're going to find Amethyst, which will probably be this one for date and time. Let's see. Yep, today. Open. So there it is. Looking awesome. We're going to go ahead and face it, though, the more stable way by putting it on this face. And then we're going to throw it over to we're going to go ahead and throw it over to not the bamboo. Oh, what? Device. Yeah, it's in the devices list. What are you guys talking about? Prepare. Let's go back here. I must, I know I did do the work, so I don't know why it's not showing up in my list. So we're gonna go in here and we'll go confirm. And now we can tell it that we want to use the P1S. All right, we'll go ahead and make sure I know what colors are in there. We're gonna go ahead and do it in white because white is cheap. And we are going to make sure it is properly sliced. And we'll send that to the printer while I continue so that I now have, oh, that's right. Nope, nope, nope. We are going to make sure that this is set to extra draft because frankly, I don't need a lot of infill. I don't need this thing to be, you know, substantial in any way, shape, or form. It just needs to print in the right dimensionality. So by making it extra draft, it should be able to print it faster, use less filament, et cetera, et cetera. Now we go back to preview. Let me print. It's going to go over there. I'll keep it in time lapse so I can share the time lapse and we'll print it. All right. Yes, the printers are always on. Well, no, I've been turning them off at night. But that's only because I haven't been sending any prints over to them. Um, but the goal is to start using them 24/7. Um, and print models that I can sell at tables at various events. Today we're going to go over to AnimeCon after I'm done here and just see what tables exist over there. So we can um, we can uh, determine if it's worth setting up our own tables. Um, and what kind of stuff are they selling at those tables? I could see, for example, if we decide AnimeCon is a viable one, yes, we could do what everybody else is doing and sell dragons, but there are plenty of anime um, models out there that I'd be happy to pay for and therefore sell the prints for. So I have one that someone has asked me to print for them, a friend, actually a friend of my son's that I just haven't gotten around to, but it's definitely anime. So, so the biggest, hey, hey Shane, welcome to the party. I can't believe people are hanging out with me today to watch me do this. It's pretty awesome of you all to hang out here. If 3D printing is something you're interested in, and you have friends out there that are interested in 3D printing, I'd be really tickled if you would share with them my 3D printing business page. I'm about to go out there and do some self promotion um, via ads. I That's not my preferred way to do it. I prefer to work with you all to get people who are um, that are interested in 3D printing to just spread the word because I'm not a big fan of ad tech, and if I'm putting ads out there, well, guess what? Ad tech is used um, because it needs to know how to put the right ads in front of the right people, and the way they do that, in my opinion, is a bit creepy. So I prefer not to put ads out there to do this, but if that's what it's going to take to get it up, all I really want to do, I'll show you what I'm trying to get done um, by switching over to Edge browser. Come on, Microsoft Edge, Amethyst Part Studio 1. I think it's this one. Yep. You'll see that I have my page out there. It's at B2P3D. I have 64 followers. A good chunk of them are y'all and all y'all that follow me everywhere else, friends, family, etc. I need to get this to 100. If I get this to 100, then rather than um, live streaming to um, my blacksmithing page on Facebook, I'll stream this stuff to my 3D printing page on Facebook, even though this is, and I might do both. Like if this is one that makes sense to do to both, because while I'm not blacksmithing, this is explicitly a thing I think every blacksmith would benefit from to be able to do um, uh, commissions, where you don't have access to um, the long distance commissions, in other words, where you don't have access to um, uh, the customer face to face to be able to get your specs right. You can do this. This is a cheap way compared to trying to do, drawings and trying to get that person to understand drawings and so forth. This is a way for you to do those drawings and then 3D print a mock-up for them to validate. You can and 3D prints don't really cost a whole lot to send out. So if I wanted to, I could 3D print this, send it to my sister, and have her tell me that works, or no, this doesn't work, and this is where it doesn't work. So and it may very well be how I do this. But the point is, I have my Jack Pines Blacksmithing page on Facebook for friends and family who don't know about my YouTube channel. It's also my business page if anybody were to do commissions with me. And as you can see, I have just enough followers to be able to do live streams on here. Um, and the goal is to get this page to a similar number of followers to be able to do live streams here as well. So spread the good word that that's what this page is for, so that if you want to interact with the page, that's awesome. I will be putting more content up here. I've been very lax about getting content up here, but as I get you know uh, the time lapses, um, then I can uh, you know post more content up there. Let's switch back over to this real quick. You can enjoy the fact that you can monitor your prints, and we can see here there's some garbage I need to go clean up from the last print I did. I'm actually going to stop the print because I don't trust that it will come out well. We're going to at least pause it. What we're seeing there is that every time there is a need to change filament, it has to make sure that even if it was the same color filament, because it doesn't really keep track of that, it needs to make sure that there's not old filament in the hot end, and so it creates that little blob of stuff, which I now just got off of there, and it's supposed to wipe that blob off, and it's going to create another one right now to purge out the old filament, and it's supposed to wipe that blob off, but every now and then the blob does not come away. So paused it, took the old blob off, started it. Now we'll wait and see it continue on. No, we are not doing ludicrous speed. I've learned already that that doesn't. Well, you know what? That was over on the A1. I don't know if I would have a problem doing it on this Core XY printer. Core XY printers don't have the moving around to the bed, so it very well could be that it would work fine. Um, and I can see right now that there are some blobs in there that need to be dealt with. So I'm going to pause the print again and we're going to deal with it. I don't think it would cause me any real harm, but it is better safe than sorry. And one should always basically be monitoring the first layer of their print. There's a blob that was left in the back. And I know there's a blob on the print head itself because I saw it. And so you don't want blobs. Blobs are blobs there lead to the blob of death. And we don't want the blob of death. That's what we're trying to avoid here. Come on. There we go. All right. Blob of death is when the print head ends up having, and it looks like it cleaned itself off. All right, let's take a look and continue. Blob of death is when something gets um, started and then attaches itself around the print head, and the print head then starts dragging filament all over the place and collects around the print head itself, and now you have a real problem. Feels like there's something happening back in the back that I may end up having to investigate sooner or later. We'll figure it out. But right now, I see no more blobs. Everything looks good. First layer is going down. We can go back to the uh, the CAD software. That was a weird delay. I can see a little bit of a mess, but as it goes across again, it will, um, little pieces of filament sticking up there. As it goes across again, it will end up printing over those, and basically they won't even be there anymore when it's done. You'll see in a second. And that's just part of first layer stuff. As it starts getting itself going, it's common to see that kind of stuff. Job of the blob. Yeah, we don't want that. Dragon poop. This one being a crystal dragon. All right, so that's looking good. Uh, my video feed on that is competing with all the other video stuff I'm doing here, I'm sure. So I'm going to turn off that video feed and just get back to, um, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, there we go. It was having trouble talking to that printer for a minute there. So it's in far better shape now. And we could see it printed over that. And now we're seeing it's catching up on the video that it had taken. So we're in good shape. I'm going to leave that alone. Not worried about it. We'll go ahead and switch back to getting stuff done here. Stuff. Everybody knows what I was about to say. There we go. Set that aside. Let's go back to this. All right. Now the thing to do is probably to create some more planes for um, some little drawings along the way. I need to figure out how to project. So the key thing now is we've got ourselves an amethyst stand-in, right? Um, but now we need to um, draw, a vine going around this, because that's the goal for my idea on the design of this, is to have a vine go up and around this. Um, and probably create, a bunch of leaves that I weld onto the vine. That's the idea. I don't want to cover up the amethyst. I want to make the amethyst look like it is being reclaimed by nature, because it is part of nature, right? Hey, Shane, Kevin, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll chat with you when next time I see you online. Forging should, if I get this right, I will be forging it. Well, no matter what, I'll probably be forging again next week. Right now, we're in the teens outside, and honestly, I don't want to be out there. I need to do this because this is something my sister requested of me. So, and as this is going to be a forging project, I need to, build this model to understand what I'm going to actually forge. Um, so. My under but the goal is going to be, as long as we're not still down in the teens, to get out into my unheated shop and fire up the forge. I don't need it to be warm. I need it to be in the 30s, not in the teens. And then I can get out into the shop and hit some steel again. I actually have been saving the blobs of stuff, or otherwise known as printer poop. We really do call it printer poop. Um, I have been saving the blobs, and they will go inside of various, because they're neat colors with oftentimes when they're done, but they'll go inside other prints that I'll do, that as you know how there's these absolutely pointless decorations you put on your table that is a bowl full of like wicker balls and stuff. There's no point in those things, right? But they're pretty. I'm thinking about making the same kind of thing. Basically, 3D printed kind of hollow balls that I put the poop inside midway, or 3/4 of the way, or whatever, and the balls will be transparent, and so it'll look pretty. So that kind of stuff. All right. So now I got to figure out, this is the part I've been dreading, because I've got a kind of clue of what I want, but I'm not exactly sure how to do it. I need a way to basically sketch a spiral up around this thing, um, so that I know approximately what things are going to look like. And it's got it. I understand that there's something called a fitted spline. So spline, there it is. 3D fit spline. Create a curve through a series of vertices or tangentially continuous edges. So I think the first thing I need to do is I need to create a base. I need to have a way that I can, something that it will sit in. And I need to have it offset from this bottom plane. So I think that's the first thing I'm going to do, is do another plane. So first thing, we'll create a plane. We're going to do an offset distance. We're going to do it from the top plane, and we're going to offset it away from the bottom by an amount. 25 millimeters. I need to see that. That's going to be an inch. That's right. And my finger, the first, um, from the first line to the tip of my finger, I just happen to be fortunate enough to be an inch. So I always have that as a, I'll go and switch to inch just to make sure I'm still right about that. Still an inch. So I always have that to look at to understand scale. And now I can also think of that as just 25 millimeters. Um, so I think that is an appropriate amount to have the base itself from the bottom. So let's go ahead and use that offset plane to create another sketch. And the sketch plane will be that one. And then we'll hit N for normal. That'll be where it happens. I don't like the fact that this is offset from origin. So I'm probably going to go, yeah, that's what I'm going to do first. We're going to come back to this. I need to go back to the original drawing and understand why it's offset like it is. Everything's offset in a way that's hard to figure out. So it's because we started from here. Um, Let me just do this real quick. I need to figure out, that's the first sketch. So why did I do it from there? Let's do this. I'm going to dimension something. I need to find a way to, is there a way to, well, let's do this. We're going to dimension from the center line. I did the wrong thing. D, from the center line to here. How did I end up like that when really what I wanted was that? There we go. That's more like it. That helps understand things better in the long run. If you don't know why I did that, it's because when I go to draw on any other plane, I'm still working off of origin. I don't know why it was all drawn the way it was. It was probably some silliness on my part in thinking through the problem. So now we're going to grab this, pull it over here, grab this and pull it over here, and this and pull it over here. And I might even grab this. Yep, pull it over here. All right. Now, when I finalize this, still the same model, still the same offset. Now, when I go to create a sketch using plane 2, normal, N for normal, now everything's lined up. And it'll be easy enough for me to work with offsets from there. All right, so now I've done this. I'm drawing on that plane 2, and I want to create something um, wide enough that it won't tip over. I also want it to be, um, I don't need any of this to be dimensional. I need it to be pretty. I also need it to be stable, right? But I want it to look sort of like it wasn't planned. So now that I've got that, I'm sure I can do things like, oop, drag this and start moving around these dots to make something that looks appealing. And this part I do want to look a bit amorphous, as in It's just a pool of steel or water, however you want to see it, that we are standing on, and that a vine is growing up and out of. That's what I'm thinking here. Anybody else um, picking up what I'm putting down here? Take care. Oh, I already said goodbye to Kevin. Sorry. Use your cone to create a helix. That is the plan. Yes. I just need to understand. It's not something I've done before. So this is the first part. Um, Now from here, I think the answer is just to make this into quarter inch uh, plate. I think that would be the way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and finalize this, and I'm going to extrude this, and I'm going to go, uh, what is that, 6 millimeter? Let's see. It'll 25 divided by 5. It's closer to, I mean, 25 divided by 4, dummy, is, yeah, 6 millimeter. I can't believe I actually just off the top of my head. It's not quite 6 millimeter because an inch is 2.54 millimeters. A a uh, so if I really wanted to be silly, I could probably do 1/4 inch, and we'll go to the back to the extrude again, and it automatically converted it for me to the millimeters that I would need. So um, just so you know, all I did, stupid math. This is stupid math. I really mean that. Is take 25, because that's a rounding down of 25.4. Um, make it so it was easily divided by 4, so it's 24. So we lost, a millimeter there, and divide that by 4, and then we get 6. This is a much smarter way to do it. The tool, I didn't know supported this, allowed me to just put in the quarter inch, and it automatically converted it for me. So this means that when I start with a quarter inch plate, I'm not needing to do anything about it. Now, part of me says if I'm going to make it look like an amorphous blob that indicates, some water that the crystal was lifted out of, I need to do some work on this piece that I will make it look like it has ripples or something, probably circular ripples. Um, so that'll be a fun thing to think about. Um, as a matter of fact, let's go back into that sketch, and let's do that. That would be a fun little exercise here. So we're going to go ahead and do concentric circles, center point circle, and we're just going to draw it in. Nope. Try that again. Okay, so I like that. We'll dimension it because it'll be easier to figure out what the dimensions should be if I do that. All right, with that in mind, let's make this one. I like that one actually. That's pretty close to how I'd want it to be. So let's call that 40. Let's make these get a little bigger each time. So we'll go 55. And then instead of adding 15, we'll add 20. So 50, that'd be 75. Instead of 20, we'll do 25. So that would be 100. And then instead of 25, it'd be 30. So that'd be 135. And that looks pretty good. I like it. So then we should be able to do some silliness around this. Let's go ahead and make that a Q. Nope. Thought that was, yeah, that. What'll be interesting is, can I do this? Can I, um, I'm basically setting myself some serious challenges here is what I'm doing. Because the amorphous blob, I'm pretty sure I can do. The wave to make that could be more challenging. I have to think about how can I push the metal back in this fashion. But I'm putting it out there as an idea that I can either discard after I go out there and try it a bit, or I succeed, and that'd be awesome, right? So, um, okay. Now, the next thing to do is I think I need, no, escape, escape. All right. And pick uh, amorphous blob to represent a pool of water. That was easy to draw on an offset plane that I then extruded. Now I want to add ripples. I've created construction the tree of expanding circles. How do I do uh, removal extrusions offset from the circles? Or is there a better solution? All right. Asking my research assistant here how to actually accomplish my goal. Draw a ripple profile on the same plane. Can I add? Yep. Convert the construction circles into actual sketch entities. Use the offset tool to create concentric circles. Yep, did that. Ripple boundaries. Oh, there we go. Offset. How do I do offset? Offset. Come on. That is not what I asked you to do. Offset. There we go. Right there. Okay. No, that was the right way to do it. I just need it to stop. Yeah. I need it. Oh, yeah. That looks right, but I don't want it to be construction. There we go. Or do I? And then, oh, yeah. There you go. looks good, except that I need it also to not be construction, I think. We'll find out. Actually, let me think about this. Z, Z, Z. Nope, there we go. Do I need to do that? Or do I just need to shove that down? Do, 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 do. Method 2, revolve, or method 3, split face. Wait a minute. On a plane cutting through the center of the base, draw a cross-sectional profile on the ripples. Oh, oh, all right. That's neat. Sinusoidal plane. Wow, that is some next level stuff right there. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Um, I love the use your construction circles to split face on the top surface of the base. This divides the base into ripple regions. Okay. Use the offset surface tool to raise or lower the ripple regions by small amounts. This method creates smooth transitions without sharp edges. Split the base face. Uh, it seems to me that method 3 is straightforward, but would be square um, ripples, unless I misunderstood. Method 2 sounds perfect, except I'm not sure how to see the circles in the top offset plane while working uh, from the front view. Referencing your circles. Okay, got it. So we're going to go ahead. This is what it's telling me to do. I've got my circles here. They're expanding ripples. We know that. We go here. We go and create another sketch. So let's see, which sketch do we do here? That's this one. We're going to do, that's that. Never mind. This one, we need to turn it back on again. We're going to rename it. Pool stand. I love Onshape. I love Onshape for a number of reasons. Um, the first reason I love Onshape is it's free. The second reason I love Onshape is because it works. It's web based, so it works on any device that has the ability to work on the web. Of course, your device should be reasonably powerful enough to render more complex web pages. But after that, it doesn't matter so much. The third reason I love and what that means is that you don't have to have a CAD powerful level machine to do CAD work. The third reason I love it is that means it works great on my iPad, which has a dedicated app so that I can use my pencil with it. And so I can sit here and do this in front of you guys, which I enjoy doing because the process, it's the journey, right? Life is about the journey. It's not about the destination. And I think too many people miss that mark. They're so focused on a goal that once they achieve the goal, they feel empty. So they start setting bigger and bigger goals. And I think that's how dragons are born. And when I say dragons, I do mean the billionaires of our world. Um, because they set a goal for themselves, they achieve that goal, and they're sitting on a hoard of gold, but don't stop hoarding because now they feel empty and they need to chase a bigger goal and a bigger goal. And they need to understand that the journey is the important part. What did you learn? What did you share? How did you help people grow? How did you grow yourself? And it's sad to me, very sad. Um, and so I'm sharing with you guys because I don't feel like I'm doing the world any good if I just keep this to myself. I'm doing good when I get out there and share with others. I never enjoy an activity nearly as much as I would as I do nearly as much alone as I would if somebody's there with me. So I love the fact that I have a partner in life that enjoys my journey with me. Um, but anyway, the other things I love about I was talking about earlier, and let me just pull this back up again so that I can finish that thread of thought. There are other CAD programs out there. One that's well loved by the 3D printing community is Tinkercad, and you're now seeing my preferred search tool now. Um, and the reason is it says it here, it's free and it's user friendly. Um, is Tinkercad parametric? And what you're going to see is Tinkercad can be parametric, but out the box, it's not. And you literally have to be a coder to do it, to do parametric design. That's not horrible. You don't have to be a good coder because they walk you through a whole bunch in doing code blocks. I love code blocks, by the way. If you have a child, hey Michael, I'm always happy to be here. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Um, uh, if you have a child who you think has an analytical mind and would benefit from learning how to code. Frankly, I think everybody benefits from learning how to code because it helps you build the analytic muscle. And I think everybody's got it. Um, hey, I appreciate you saying that, Michael. Um, uh, the I think everybody has um, some amount of analytical mind in them, and I think that there are some whose innate talent expresses more greatly. And I think this is true of all sorts of learning. I do think that there are such a thing as deficits in particular areas, but that doesn't mean that that the ability to expand upon a deficient area doesn't exist. Um, and so, honestly, if they show an inkling of interest, a great way to get kids started in coding is to show them code blocks. It's awesome. But out of the box, Tinkercad is not parametric. There is also another one that is folks like out there. I'm trying to think what other popular CAD software exists that is not parametric. I'm not remembering because honestly, if it's not parametric, I don't want to do it. And I'll explain what the difference is here in a minute. In a minute, and this is true of there are parametric exists in other type of creative tools too. Um, so none of these are ones that I know off the top of my head. Most of the ones I've dealt with are parametric. Um, and thinking of tools used by the 3D printing community. Okay. Take care, Daniel. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great week. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Spread the word about B2P3D for me if you would. Um, there we go. So, um, these are very common tools for 3D creation. Blender being one of the biggest ones. Mesh Mixer is another one that I'm familiar with, and it's by Autodesk. These literally work through painting, if you will. You start with a core shape, um, a sphere or a cube or a rectangular prism, things like that, and then you carve away with your pointer various other shapes, or you carve away, you add to it with your pointer. You can do add or subtract, and those are awesome. They're awesome tools for creating things like I'll show you. And I have to learn those tools. I do have to learn those tools. Um, but as most of the kind of things I create are to a spec, dimensionality matters. But this kind of thing is created using a tool like Blender. Um, you basically just push and pull your shapes out of it. Okay. Um, whereas with parametric, you are defining dimensionality. You're defining your shape through dimensionality, um, parameters, parametric. That's where that's coming from. And if you want to see um, what equivalence in um, drawing tools uh, demonstrate the differences between parametric and non-parametric. I'm thinking of things like um, Da Vinci versus uh, come on, you know this one. Uh, Adobe's, can't think of the name. Tool for drawing using splines. So what I'm getting to is, um, I learned through my artist friend, Echo, that there's freeform painting versus uh, uh, is it Illustrator? The comparison different software approach to create. So I think it's Adobe Illustrator I might be thinking of that uses splines, right? Yeah. So um, Adobe Illustrator is one I think my friend uses, where you basically can draw a spline. You draw a freeform curve, kind of like what I just did, and then you can move around. Uh, uh, and let me just do it this way. YouTube uh, handles are what I'm thinking of. Adobe Illustrator modify spline path. This would be a real simple short video that shows that. So this is an example. You're not going to hear it, so I'm not going to get somebody to get upset with me. But you can see this is actually drawn using splines. And so you can reshape the path on this using various tools. So for example, he's going to come in here and look at this circle in here and redefine what this circle does. And you can see there's another one here that's got a little, um, yeah, anchor points. And this is exactly the same as what I'm doing here. You can basically change their shapes by changing these anchor points. And so that's parametric. The difference being, if you, when you think about it, all the difference is are you drawing freeform and modifying shapes, or are you drawing, um, uh, how to say it, basically borders of the shapes that you're dealing with, and then modifying those borders to adjust the shape. And as a result, when all is said and done, you end up with the ability to just change a parameter and the shape itself changes. And that's what you watched me do so far. So the next step on this, and I'm looking at it, yep, that's fine. The next step on this is their suggestion is to come in here to the front plane, create um, a new sketch on the front plane that references those circles. And now I've got to understand how. Let me see if there's a way to, nope, come on, move up here. There we go. Locate your construction circles in the offset plane. Right-click on this. Right-click the sketch containing the circles in the feature tree. So we already know that that one is visible. I made sure that it was visible. That was one of the things it said. Then to create the cross-section for ripples, select the front plane and start a new sketch. And I've done that. And draw a center line through the middle of the base to use as the axis of revolution. That's true. So that's one of the first things we're going to do. We'll go ahead here. We'll zoom out. We're going to go ahead and draw a construction line from here through here. That'll be its center of revolution. That's cool. Let's go ahead and zoom back in on that. Not like that, like that. There we go. Come on, give it to me normal. There we go. And then sketch the ripple profile. Use arcs or spline curves to create the desired sinusoidal pattern. Reference your visible circles to align the peaks, ripple peaks and valleys. And what I think I can do to make this work is basically use a ball tool at the forge to basically press in with the ball the dimensions I'm trying to do here. Right now, I'm just trying to make sure I learn how to do this more than anything else. But we're going to go with, let's see, how do these things typically work? That'll be, yeah, we're going to have to do a horizontal. Um, how can we do this? I need a normal right there. I need another construction line here. I need to make sure that I don't come too low here. So I'm going to dimension this to be halfway between this. So we'll go ahead and put a D. We will say top of here to here, pull it out here, and we'll go 1/8 inch. Nope, I did that wrong. Let's try it again. Control V, that one, 1/8 inch. There's what I needed. Go ahead and throw it over here. This dimension isn't like something we have to reference, so I'm not putting it in as a variable or anything like that. We just know we're dealing with a 1/4 inch plate, and I don't want to push down into that plate too crazy. So we need to make sure it looks like I'm doing what I'm doing without breaking the plate there. So from here, we would normally bloop up, then down, then up, then down. So we need to go from the low point there. Let's see. And I think we're just going to do this with another spline. Let's see what we have in here. We have Bezier. We have spline control point. Uh, let's see. I see spline, uh, Bezier, and spline control point. Which should I use? Control point allows you to intuitively shape curves by adjusting control points, giving you smooth transitions and precise control over curvature. It's ideal for creating organic shapes like ripples because you can easily tweak the flow to align with your desired pattern. Cool. So that's what we will use. Start at the ripple's inner edge closest to the base center. Add control points along the path of the ripple, matching the curve's peaks and valleys. All right, so the valley starts that point there. Well, that doesn't seem right. I see thing I think I need to do is this. Yeah. And then I can put control points on later. What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. But those points aren't on a kind of intersection that I can see. They are, but they aren't because they're on the bottom. That's why. I drew that. Doo, 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 doo. I need those to be up on the next part. So we're going to change. We're going to stop this. We're not broken, but I did put everything in the wrong place. And that's fine. It's because I extruded in the wrong direction is all that means. So we're going to cancel. We extruded up when I meant to extrude down. There we go. Now everything's where it needs to be. Now we go back to this one and we decide, yes. Did I put that in the right place? Let's find out. We'll hit normal. Yes, it is still in the right place. Are my circles in the right place? They are. My plane is getting in my way seeing it. Let's see if I can turn that off. There we go. We're drawing on that plane, and that's fine. We're going to go ahead and hit normal. Tilt so I can see this stuff. And now we can try and do the Bezier. From there to, I need a top plane there. Okay. Do, 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 do. I need another line. That's what I need. So that's sitting in the middle. Okay, I need another line above it. We're going to get rid of this dimension. It's valid. It's just not the one I need. All right, gone. We will deal with that in a second. Normal. Do, do, do. Another line. Another construction line. There we go. Now we can, this stuff doesn't need to be so far out. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Control Z. That's on the top now. Let's make sure it is. There we go. This needs to be constrained to that point. This needs to be constrained to 1/8 inch. Good. All right, now that it's constrained, we should be able to draw our curves that start as a dip and then go up to the, come on. Why aren't you showing me? While I can see the circle construction lines from the other sketch, it's not allowing me to use them when I create my spline. As attach points. What am I missing? All right, let's see if we can figure this out, because there's, you would think it would let me use it because it lets me select it when I'm that way. Why isn't it letting me select it? Actually, I don't want to attach there. I want to attach to the bottom one, but it's not letting me select it. Show the sketch. Ensure the sketch containing construction circles is visible. It is. We're going to call this a wave sketch. Waves. Do, 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 do. Cool stand. Just for kicks, let's do this. I don't really need to see the extrude. Can I actually? No, I can't. All right, that's what I needed to do, just to be able to see. They do intersect, right? Okay. Do from here to, why isn't it letting me see it? And back to here. Actually, that's cool. We'll see. I'm just gonna do it again. I'm gonna have to do it manually instead of project the circles into your current sketch. Oh, well, in the new sketch on the front plane, use the use project tool. How do I do it? Tell me how I do it. Come on, project. Use. Projects edges or faces of an existing part or sketch into the actual sketch. Yeah, I mean, this is what I want to do. So let's do U. Oh, that's what. Okay, it just did it. I did not understand how it was doing it. Now I understand how it's doing it. Look at that. That's cool. So now I've got intersection points. Awesome. I know I'm geeking out about silly stuff, but it's pretty awesome. Okay. Nope. I see something else I need to do. Uh, okay, so if I come in here and I select that and that and that and that and that and do offset, yep, there we go. And that will take down, um, can only offset a single chain at once. And this will be 1/8 inch. I don't think that worked. So let's try 1 instead. So it is just O. Huh. Okay, it did say it did it, but it's not taking down the thing. Oh yeah, it did. It put a dot there. Look at that. I think it did it. Okay, good, good. So now let's do it again. This is so cool. O, and then we do the same thing. O, do the same thing. O, do the same thing. Oop. O, do the same thing. Wait a minute, did it work? Yes, it did. Ah, but I actually probably didn't do it right. Okay, yeah, we put it in the wrong place. So Control Z, because I didn't actually tell it. There we go. Oh, you're right. Let's try it again. Oh, the biggest problem is I didn't bother to come in here and do this. 1/8 inch. There it is. Now it's in the right place. The other ones I did right. It's just, where is it? That was this one. This is this one. Got it. Then we do this one. Come on. There we go. O. And we do, there we go. And then finally, this one. What are you doing? I said, oh, there we go. Really? All right. Silliness. I get it. Everybody's looking at me like, what the heck? All right. So now we're all set up. We can come in here with my spline tool. We can come in here and use that to that to that to that to that to that. After which we basically just end there. All right. Then we grab this. Nope. Grab this, pull it down. And I think that's going to make a pretty looking ripple. And I think I can use, like I said, a ball tool to actually make that look right. Let's revolve that. That would be awesome if this works. Do, 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 do. Now, the order of operations to make that work, I would have to get this amorphous shape first or thereabouts. And I could just cut it out. Then put in the ripples. Then, if it looks weird on the edges, use a grinder to clean that shape back up again. Because it's going to change the shape by using a ball tool to move the metal around. But that's fine. This shape isn't like set in stone. This is just something for me to see and find out if it's a big enough shape to prevent the crystal from tipping over. That's really why I'm, you know, modeling up this right now, is so that way we can make sure things aren't going to tip over. Um, so now, having done that, we should be able to use the revolve tool. We can now turn this part back on again. We should be able to use the revolve tool. Revolve, revolve, revolve. There it is. We can do a remove. We can use this uh, sketch. We can tell it that the revolve axis is this. Oh, that looks so good. It didn't wave the way I thought it would, though. So there's something I don't understand about my ripple. But I can definitely mess with the ripple a little more to figure that out. Because this should have also gone back down inside. So I don't know why it doesn't look like it did, or why that looks like it's a hard. Otherwise, it did what I wanted it to. It basically troughed and rose. Just don't understand why this one didn't. All right, let's go to the front, tilt it, and I'm going to figure it out from here. This is looking pretty good. I need to understand why my um, waves drawing didn't actually, I mean, I don't think it did. That looks like it's, yeah, I would have expected it to have scooped that out, and it doesn't look like it did. But look at that. It actually did everything else just fine. I have to do some investigation, but I'm very happy with that. Okay, especially since I'm now going to build the stand uh, up and out of this too. I think, therefore I am. Um, this is an interesting one because I could, yeah, I could. All right, now I understand how this works. I think I can do the same thing around um, the amethyst. And to do that, basically we need to have places, we need to have reference points is what we need. Um, Garrett probably knows this really well, but I need reference points that I can then do a helix. So like we have a 3D fit spline is what I was thinking of doing, to be honest. And then doing an offset off of that 3D fit spline. So to do this, you have to create a series of vertices that you can run it through. Vertices are basically the connection points that it will go through, and then it fits the curve according to that. So uh, I really would love to understand why this didn't dip, but I'll worry about that later. I think right now I can move on to the next step, which is to just start creating um, offset planes that I can draw um, some reference dimensions and then leverage those to create my spline. So just making that pool, though, taught me a number of things that helped me understand what my next step is. So I am very tempted. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to go ahead and let's rename the part. And we'll call this the base. And then I'll probably create another part that's the vines. But I'm going to export this, and I'm just going to validate what I'm seeing, which is that it didn't create that dip in the middle. Um, Export, we'll just call this amethyst. Helps if I could spell base. Export that. And now we'll go ahead and create a new We won't create new. We will actually use the existing. We'll come over here. I will show that to you. Do, 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 do. We'll go over here to prepare. We'll create ourselves another seat that we can put it on. We're going to switch this one over now to the A1. Um, it really doesn't change a whole lot, except there are some uh, s- printer setup stuff that when you slice it, you have to make sure you're slicing for the correct printer. Um, so now we're going to go ahead and import a, what did I call it? Amethyst base. And look at that. Boy, is my sizing just right. We're going to go over here. Let's see if it pulls in the right printer. Nope. Go to preview. Nope. Go to device. Let's pick the other device. There we go. Pull that one in. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, because it's not able to talk to it for some reason. We can fix that. It should be online. There it is. Uh, it hadn't announced itself to the service recently enough. There we go. What do I have in there right now? Let's use black. So we'll go into the objects. We will tell it we're going to make it black. And we're going to go back to this. Make sure we're still extra draft. Slice the plate. Send it. And sure, we'll time lapse that one too. Who said TPU? Cancel that stuff. No, no, that is just wrong. Try that again. There are 4 filaments in there. That is not right. Do it again. All right. I don't know what's going on with this printer, but that is not what's in there. We're going to go ahead and minus and minus. We're going to add in. That is not what's in there. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's go to device. Yeah, that's not what's in there. Okay, so let's tell it what is in there. In slot 3 is gray, and it's not in there right now. It's not loaded. That's what's going on. They're not loaded. Dummy. Load those filaments in. All right. And then we're going to tell it that this is black peel. Oh, it knows already. Cool. Let's go back over here. Let's uh, do this. There we go. Let's go back over here. Let's tell it to refresh again. Resync. There. No, that's wrong. Try again. Resync. All right. Is being dumb. Nope, it's in there now. Okay. It took a minute for it to figure that out. Let's do it again. Resync. There we go. We don't care about the TPU. It's not in there. And we're going to go here to objects and everything. This won't matter because I'm not even using it. So we're just going to do this. And we're going to go back to make sure, extra draft, preview. Preview just makes it slice it for me as well. Yeah, I can tell just looking at this that it didn't dip the middle. I'm going to print it anyway and just see what it looks like. It's going to take all of well, it's going to take 3 hours to print it. Still, it'd be good to look at, see if I like it good enough to leave it like that. I doubt it though. In the meantime, it's going to be printing. All right. With that done, let's go back to, and you can see the same kind of thing here. It'll go ahead and do some setup. Oh, it's 11:15. I need to get out of here, off of here. I got some other stuff I have to get done. Um, well, folks, that time just flew by for me. Time blindness. It's a gift. I really love the fact that you guys come and join me on here in this journey of mine. It's a learning journey for me. Hopefully, you guys take something away from this, some camaraderie, some learning, some seeing a tool that you might want to add to your arsenal for blacksmithing to help you, you know, better envision what the outcome will be before you actually start burning your metal. Or at least that's what I do. Um, and you know, we'll do some more of this for sure. I have to continue working on this, so there's a good chance that I may be at this again next week because, like I said, my weeks are jam-packed full with work to pay the bills and enable you know, my hobbies. So basically, I get to my hobbies on the weekend. That's it. So I might sit and doodle on this on my iPad. As I said, that's one of the many reasons I enjoy this. I enjoy the fact that it's a free tool. It does have a paid tier if you want to keep your models private. I'm not keeping my models private, so it doesn't really matter for me. Um, and it's a pretty powerful tool. I will say that you know, there's some things about the professional tools that might be lacking in this, but nothing that stops me from actually getting what I need done as I learn, you know, how the tools work in the modern era. So really enjoy you um, doing this with me. As I end this live stream with you, um, I'm going to contextualize my challenge a little bit. Um, we're going through some challenging times, and I don't mean challenging just for uh, one group of people. This there are people who voted in this current administration that are now seeing some challenging times. Uh, there is a lot of find out going on in the FAFO, um, uh, you know, situation we find ourselves in, and uh, we're seeing everything from farmers who are going to go under now because this administration, their whole way of doing things is just undo everything the prior administration did. And that includes things that made it possible for farmers to um, make changes to the way they get things done to be better positioned with climate change occurring. And yeah, that's a mess. So to as I said, to contextualize the challenge I always give my viewers, get out there, be a light in people's lives. Um, the find out stage is painful, no matter who, whether or not that they were the group that you know fracked around or were the group impacted by the frackers. Um, Everybody needs support at this point. And so be a light in people's lives um, and put love out into the world, not hate. Love and light, everybody.